Well, my name's Amanda. I'm a recent college grad. I studied illustration, and right now I'm just embedding my inner hentai girl, not really in a particular cosplay. Yeah.
I'm Michael, and I'm the support class.
We both came from New York, but we were already in Bethesda for a bit, and then today we just traveled here by Lyft.
It's a multi-step kind of journey, I'd say, for both of us.
Well, I started it as a hobby. I really want to try to be a professional one day, hopefully, but little baby steps at a time. I've been cosplaying for, I think, since 2010, 2009. So that's like, what, 10 years?
Yeah, almost this morning, yeah.
I always wanted to do Lady Divamon for some reason, because Digimon was my jam since back then. So it's like either her or Angelamon. Those are my main top two. And then what I'm really hoping to get done in 2019, I wanted to try to do Mike Kirby. So like do a humanoid version of Kirby as Mike Kirby. And then other two. I also started like a bunch of Samus cosplays, so my goal is to do every like little variation of Samus. So those are actually like my top 5. Yes, Saturday there's gonna be a Smash meetup, and I think just a general fighting game meetup. So on Saturday, I'm gonna be in my Zersuit Samus with the cannon and the like little parts of armor, and I'm hoping to meet some awesome people there, and hoping to see if we can like get some awesome photos. And hopefully, Friday I'm also doing the Justin Bailey version of Samus, and hopefully, get random fun photos with that. This is actually my second year. My first time was last year, and it was just randomly like told by a friend to me. I actually find this to be a less stressful kind of con or festival, wherever word works best for it. I feel like the people that come are more friendly and like, even if you don't know a couple of people that are around, you're bound to stir up a conversation with someone. I could compare this to Katsu, but I always felt Katsu wasn't fun unless I was actually with friends, and I always felt like there's a subgroup in Katsu where there are some cosplayers that are kind of a negative reflection on the cosplay community, and that is like just something I want to avoid. I just think my main reason for being here is for the video games, because I can stay up late and then no one gets kicked out of the building unless you don't actually have a badge or anything. But I really enjoy playing all these different arcades and like pinball and things that I normally don't have like around me most of the time, like very obscure games, and just like playing with friends is my main purpose of being here. Oh yes, there's two people that are actually rooming with us. They're one is Sephiroth. I forgot what the other one was.
Genesis.
She was Genesis, right? Yeah, and they look pretty good together. And of course you see some meme cosplays. I saw the hit or miss girl, and
Really?
yeah,
Oh
I saw the hit or
oh
miss.
my god.
And there's someone in a Falco from like Star Fox, and I was like, that's a lot of work that you put into like to just.
I saw him running around.
You
Oh
saw
yeah, that was
right?
amazing. Yeah.
And that was like really cool because you know people make this and the time and effort that they put into the cosplays. Hopefully, I see more in the few days, and that'll just add more to my favorites.
Yeah. It feels like even though the size of the con is like comparatively smaller to KatsuCon, there still isn't that lack of creativity or anything like that coming from people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's super entertaining to see how people have kind of put some of their stuff together and stuff, just as artists and things.
Definitely. Hopefully, if I have the funds for it, I would definitely come here again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, not really. 'Cause I think this is like the only time I've actually stayed in one spot and not leave.
Yeah.
Like traveling back and forth, and you know that takes away so much stress of, oh, did I leave something at home? Oh, is something breaking on me? And there's like so many positive things. There's less to worry about.
I mean, just staying at a con, you know, as opposed to having to travel back and forth or something, even to a hotel on a block or something like that. Like, that's a pretty surreal experience. That in its own right makes it, you know, completely different than a lot of the other things that we've done. I mean, I feel like the only way that I would compare it to any event that we've been to is just talking about how much better, honestly, Magfest is than that, you know, whatever the previous event would have been.
Yeah.
Boy. I would just say that I really, really like that Magfest right now feels like something that a lot of commercial interests, I feel like, haven't descended upon, and that being something that I think has ruined a lot of the other big East Coast cons is just the feeling that going to more and more of these, you know, I feel like when I go to Comic-Con, I feel like I'm being more sized up as like a target demographic from whatever company is presenting like their new season of something or trying to show a trailer there or something like that, as opposed to, you know, the event really feeling like a chance for people from within the community to come up and feel like something. And that the fact that as big as Magfest has gotten, the fact that it still feels local and that there's a lot of creative energy here is just such a big part of what makes it a really special event together.
And just on my part, just a little thing that I just wish they would fix is that I
please, Santa, pretty please.
Is that I just wish that the scheduling and panels would be like announced a little bit earlier and like acceptances, because like it's really difficult to know what's kind of gonna go on, like if there's other things I want to do instead of just playing video games all day, because you know sometimes I want to see what other people are giving, you know, like what panels and what types of cosplays are gonna be shown, or there was this one thing that I saw, I don't know if it was a panel or something, but I saw it when I was ready in Bethesda. And it was like, oh, artist trade-off. And I also do art on the side. So I was like, oh, that would have been cool if I knew this earlier. Because then I would have brought some stuff from home to, like, actually trade my art pieces with other people and, like, have a better experience and, like, you know, network with them or anything of that sort. But yeah, that's my only thing. I have an Instagram and Facebook. They're both Snow Kid Cosplay. If you guys like what I put out there, please like or follow. Comments too, that makes it great. Well, he has Instagram too. Go say it.
Oh, right, I forgot. It's so new. Michael Denny Art. Just that, I think, right? Michael Denny Art. You'll find me in there somewhere. Or check the comments of her profile first to find me there.
Yes, he takes some of my photos too, so you find them in the tags or something.
Hello, my name is Nev. I'm here to network, but I'm still here to like enjoy my vacation as well. So,
To say both.
yeah.
I'm Meka, hey, and I'm a tattoo artist. I don't really have a cosplay on, this is just how I dress every day, and yeah.
My name is Cola Nash. This is how I dress all the time. This is not a cosplay. I'm here to network, and I'm also here to see everybody else's cosplays and play all the cool games that I never played before.
My name is Cam. I'm a dog walker and trainer, and I'm here just to have fun and like play video games and see friends and cosplay a bit on Saturday. I'll be cosplaying the final form of Fallen Hannah from Me Me Me. And yeah, just here to have fun.
I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore too.
I am from Philadelphia, and it was a long 5-hour bus ride to get here.
I'm from DC, so 20-minute car ride.
This is my 3rd year.
Yeah, same, my 3rd year.
This is my first year, but I've been going to Mag Labs before, so yeah.
This is my third year. Yeah, this is my 3rd year.
A friend.
She took me to my first Magfest, so.
Yeah, and we took you.
Yeah, they took me because I went to Mag Labs, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I'm definitely coming back. And here I am.
I don't remember how I found out. It was probably through a friend or like a friend or something.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, definitely.
The gaming room is 24 hours, first and foremost. It's more of an older crowd, not so many kids. It's more focused on music and gaming versus cosplaying and more like Japanese culture stuff.
We already made arrangements and plans. Kind of cool.
We're already planning. I haven't seen much cosplay so far.
I think that we stand up.
Or I was gonna say us.
Like,
But I didn't
no,
want
like not to be super cocky, but like,
This is just how we dress.
I know, but when people are like,
Yeah.
pulling us to the side every 5 minutes and taking pictures, I love your cosplay, and we have to like remind them, hey, this is us. But like, I guess that falls in the same category as expressing yourself. And
I still haven't seen a furry yet.
it's only Thursday. They come out during the weekend, They have a curfew.
I think the only cosplay I remember seeing today is a Soldier 76. I mean, I've seen people with cosplay on, but it was kind of like, most of them were like sitting down or like only had it halfway on or something. So,
Yeah, it's kind of hot, so
yeah, it's really warm.
I don't blame them.
Usually Magfest is really cold.
Rock Band and
What
it was an indie
Fluff
game.
Battle?
I believe so.
Fluff Battle. It was in the indie games by the something castle.
Baby castles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard.
They have the Magfest train, where they were like near the gazebo, kind of. I don't know. I saw it last year. I didn't see it this year yet. But it's like the Magfest train or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
What about the roar?
That was pretty witty.
I hear that.
I listened to that as well.
Yeah, that I don't see it other places.
Magfest is crazy. Like,
There's a lot going on.
Right.
It's hard to just pinpoint one thing. Yeah.
So you can follow me on Instagram, nymph.gg.
and you can follow me on Instagram at MekaXnoxid, MEKAXNOXID. Yeah.
You can follow me on Facebook, Cola Nash. Cola as in Coca-Cola, and Nash as in NASH, and Instagram is Sun Gypsy.
You can follow me on Instagram. It's campup, CAM_PUP. I mostly post like cosplay stuff on there, but yeah.
Enjoy yourself. It's about to go down right here in this room right now. Are you fucking ready? Woo! Team Wizard. That was dope, I see you. Yo, we ain't done yet.
My name is Luke Fields. I do the bass playing and most of the talking in Bit Brigade. I don't know exactly how far we traveled to come here because I wasn't driving, so I didn't look at what the mile readout was. But we are from Athens, Georgia, so it's, 9-10 hour drive, something like that. My first Magfest was, I believe, Magfest 9, 2010. It was the last year that it was at the Hilton, I believe. The year before it moved to the Gaylord. Defining the Bit Brigade is pretty easy. You have to do it every day, all the time. Like every fifth person or so that shows up is someone I've got to explain everything to. So my usual spiel is that we're a 5-piece band. We've got 2 guitars, bass, drums, and a gamer. The gamer sits on stage, does a full playthrough of a classic NES title, such as Mega Man 2, which we did on Thursday. And while he's playing the speedrun live on the screen on stage, the rest of us are up there with him doing the entire soundtrack in real time. So it's a live rock band accompaniment to a live speedrun. My favorite soundtrack of ours is probably Metroid. Being the bass player, I get to do the weirdest stuff in Metroid. It's got more atmospheric, strange, plotting, heavy stuff that isn't necessarily present in a lot of the other soundtracks that we do. Metroid just lets me be weirder than I usually get to be, which makes me happy. Definitely 2019 this year. Takashi Tateshi, the composer of Mega Man 2, was here, so they actually asked us to play Mega Man 2 for that reason. And I wasn't really expecting to get to meet him. I'm not really a video game music guy. I enjoy video game music, but I'm more a musician. Not really in the band because of my love for video game music. I'm in the band because I can play very well. So he wasn't necessarily a rock star I was aware of and knew very well, but having him be there on stage and hanging out with him and having him come out and talk to the audience and everyone being very excited definitely made this year very special. And we didn't play last year, so this was sort of a homecoming show. Attendance was crazy, especially for a Thursday. I don't think we've ever packed the room to capacity on a Thursday before, so that was crazy. just overall, I think this is probably, without much competition, definitely my favorite year this year. It's similar playing at Magfest to other stuff. Like it's got some certain similarities with stuff like Penny Arcade Expos. Other fan-driven cons will play occasionally. They're much smaller typically. Magfest is the perfect collision of excitement, people who are really excited to be there to see the show, not just sitting in a chair watching it. People are standing and really pumped to see it, and volume. So we'll play smaller cons where there's 100 kids in the room who are super pumped to see it and the energy is great, and then we'll play to a ton of people at a con where everyone's sitting in a chair just quietly watching and it doesn't feel like a rock and roll show. Magfest is the only environment in which those two things happen simultaneously, where everyone is pumped and everyone's a part of the party, and it's also a ton of people, like a crazy amount. We always have interest in playing anything, anytime, and we've have a very long history with the Magfest organization, so we're always down and excited to try things, but we haven't been to many of those. We played Mag Labs one year, and none of the other ones have we really been able to make work or been invited to play. I wouldn't go as far as to say that we're a Magfest proper band in nature only, but that seems to be the one that we have been we've played the most. So I can't really speak to those. I'm sure they're fun. Mag Classic would be a lot of fun playing at the Hilton again. I like the smaller, more intimate nature of stuff like that. That's really cool. But I just really don't have the info. I don't have the data to really answer that question fully. There's a ton I would not like to play. Games have to fit a very specific criteria to be Bit Brigadeable, basically. Loosely broken down, it's got to be reliably completable in 45 minutes or less, or under an hour, basically. So anything that's over an hour is super fatiguing, not only on us, but also on the audience. That's a long time to sit and watch someone play a video game and watch a rock band play without any breaks, because typically there's not a lot of, gaps between songs. It's just breakneck, one after the other, consistently going on. So it's got to be the right length. There have to be enough good tunes in it to sustain an entire set. It's got to be fun enough to watch it for that 45 minutes and really enjoy all the tunes. And if there aren't enough songs for that specific game, there's got to be good ones we can pull from other games in that universe. So like for, The Legend of Zelda, there's only, I think, 7 or 8 tracks on the sound file for that game. So we pull in a bunch of stuff from other Zelda games, and that works just fine. But there's other games where it's like, man, this is really cool, looks fun, right length, but there's just not enough good songs. And then another one is it's got to be fun to watch. It's got to be a game that is engaging to experience visually, that you can enjoy watching someone else play. Has like a good storyline or really interesting graphics, or at least is well known. It's got some pedigree, some sort of there's a public awareness behind it. Because if we learn it, it's a lot of time out of our schedule and lives to really get a game done. And if we're doing it only to play it once at a convention where only one specific group of people can enjoy it, it's kind of a waste of our time. We have to have stuff that we can play in rock clubs when we're touring, stuff that's applicable to everybody. Everybody's heard of Zelda. Everyone's heard of Mega Man, Ninja Gaiden's kind of a stretch. Metroid's a little bit of a stretch, but those are at least have pretty big profiles. There's a bunch of games we just can't do because they are just, no one would really care about it the way they care about the other stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah. I've been playing guitar since I was 11, and I'm 36 now, so 25 years. That is a very long and complicated question. So many bands have inspired me in different points of my life, because I've been, I'm getting close to 40, so I've been around for a while, and I've had a lot of different phases. So for me specifically, I don't think is really applicable, and it's kind of too long of a question, but for Bit Brigade, all of us kind of came up in a math rock scene, so a lot of us have been playing, very complicated, loud indie rock for years. And some people who play that kind of music, much like ourselves, were all avid gamers in their youth, so that's part of the reason they're attracted to melodically dense and complicated music is because they have video game music hardwired into their brain. It's part of their, their enjoyment. So video game music in and of itself is probably the biggest influence. But as far as other people who are doing something that we thought we could do, I wouldn't say better, but do something on the same level of them, the big ones are probably The Advantage and Mini Bosses. Those are the guys that we kind of strive to make sure we're trying to do as good of a job as they are, because they're the first people we heard playing video game music, we were like, this is badass. I really like this. This is cool. I can enjoy this, and I would enjoy being in a band that does this sort of thing. Oh, there is no limit to the unique challenges that are presented by having to concurrently do speedrun and performance. I mean, it's almost sort of like there's a lot of call and response, like jazz, like one person's in the lead for a certain spot and everyone's listening for cues from them. Then it'll change to another person. Like sometimes we're watching Noah to see when we need to start winding down a song to end it at the same point because we can see where he is on the level. Sometimes he's having to stall for a couple minutes to make sure we can finish this last rep of the tune because it's really good and we want to make sure everyone gets to hear the whole thing through 2 or 3 times. And so there's a lot of stuff like that. We're always making adjustments to try and make the gameplay better and faster, so that means adjustments to the music, not just to the game itself. Structuring things, because not every game is a straight A to B path. Sometimes there's a lot of options that have to be made, so planning out a set where things are optional, like Zelda, deciding what order to do the dungeons in and what songs to play for which dungeons and that sort of thing. That's something you don't typically have to do in a normal band. I could go on. Basically, our entire band's existence is figuring out all those challenges. That's what we do, is just finding those challenges and figuring them all out, eliminating them. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there is anything like Magfest that I would feel comfortable comparing it to, besides things of its own ilk. Other conventions and festivals, sure, but other media, that's, as someone who works at Magfest, I'm not coming to enjoy it, so I'm not always here just being like, oh my god, I'm here to do a job. It's a fun job, and I love it, but I have a very specific experience here that can be, fun and tiring and taxing. Not that it's not like that for everybody, but I think that a lot of people would compare it to something really exhilarating and weird and exciting, and my emotions in relationship with it is a little too complex to pick out something to just slap next to it and go, it's kind of like this, because it's kind of like everything in its own little snippets of time. If I'm up at 7 a.m. still playing pinball in the arcade, super turbo drunk, it feels like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. If I'm just getting here and loading in, it feels like I can't even really, it just feels like work. I'm trying to think of a movie that's just people lifting things and I can't think of one. And then sometimes right before a show when things are going wrong and there's a whole bunch of problems to solve, it feels like the opening of, Saving Private Ryan. It can be a whole lot of really gory, awful things you just kind of have to get through to make sure that the goal is achieved. There's no really one thing to compare it to. For me, it's just kind of all things at different points of time. It depends on the snapshot you're referring to. Does that make sense? Yeah. We are Bit Brigade from Athens, Georgia, and we would love to have your ears and your eyeballs and any other parts of yourself you want to mail to us. That's all I got.